Yo, you're picking the phone.
So you're saying I have to buy another game to have an advantage in another game that's already unfinished? When's the last time you were excited to get off work because you were thinking of a video game to play all day?
If this isn't something that you genuinely love, then you're gonna be here for a day.
Back in the day when they were selling a product they were proud of, it had to be done, it had to be ready. All right, episode 1 of Decanted. We've got me, Double D's, and my co-host, Bran Flakes or Brandon. Today we are sipping on some Kentucky vintage bourbon old fashions. Never had this, never heard of it, but let's hope it's good.
Little
All right.
ASMRs. That's actually really good.
That's actually pretty good.
I've never had this.
Hey, cheers. Yeah. Okay.
Little cherry in it. I like it.
Yeah. A little
It's
touch.
classy.
We're not classy.
As a man who knows class.
I'm wearing sweats, Vans,
That's class.
a wrinkled flannel, and I wore these sweats for the
Majority
past 2 days.
of billionaires today look just like that. So,
Okay.
alrighty.
Okay, so episode 1. We're here to talk about the current state of gaming, everybody. I mean, long story short, I just feel like a lot of things are unplayable, and if they are, it's very frustrating to play. I mean, I just feel like every project from every developer is unfinished, and they just put out these subpar, mediocre, very overhyped products, and we're just kind of there, and we just kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm one of the sheep. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. I think that is the way that the industry is going, because we just downloaded Super People, and that's not a finished game. That is in testing. So you get it on Steam for free, and that's not just this game. You also have a lot of other games that come out. They're free, but you have to use in-purchase games to actually make a difference. But that's just the way the industry is going. So I just don't think that that's something
Yeah, I agree.
to go just in on, because I just feel like it's something I have to get used to. And it's annoying, but it's genuinely that. Like, I can't imagine being 14 years old right now and like having these titles to play. Like, that would just...
When's the last time you were excited to get off work because you were thinking of a video game to play all day?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
And that was, what, 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, and that's college. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to get out of class to go home and ride that horse and level it up and
Nice.
become my best friend. Like,
Level
dude,
it up.
like, that was like Skyrim for me. Like, Red Dead Redemption, Skyrim, like the same thing. Getting out of school or getting off work, even working like my side jobs, like, just like, those are 2 games that genuinely made me excited to get home and just spend the next 6 hours up until like midnight playing, and then do it all again. Like, I can't remember another game. What was it for you?
A lot of people will fucking roast me for this, but honestly, it was Fortnite.
Fortnite?
Yeah.
Like,
I would get really
Beginning,
excited.
very beginning.
Huh? Yeah, like the first like 8 months it was out, like the first, like basically up until like the year when all the sweat tards came out.
Yeah.
And everyone else just like got good. But I was just so excited to get home from class and get that victory royale and play. Like, it was the first game in a very long time where, you know, you and your friends were like squatting up and playing.
Yeah.
Very long
Battle
time.
Royale. That was the big heat, the big hill climbing up. Fortnite dropped.
I
huge.
took a break from like gaming for basically after like Fallout 4. I didn't really care for anything, especially like Call of Duty. It's the same shit every year. They put out a game and it's not a finished game until the next one comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And COD got real boring. They came out with Warzone. It was good, but then even that went to shit fairly quickly. It didn't even take a year for that game to kind of...
That's what happens when you don't care enough about your community to continue to, like, that's the thing. Like, that's why Fortnite will, I think, constantly be one of the top, just like League of Legends. Like, you're talking about games, you're talking about companies that put their gaming experience. I think that's top of mind, not dollar signs or anything. Like, I genuinely think that they try to make that game better. And that's why I like respect Fortnite. Like, I just genuinely am terrible at it. But like League of Legends and Fortnite, and I mean, even PUBG has a good sustaining crowd because they constantly level that stuff up.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have seasons in Warzone, and you have and they try, but I mean, I still think that they just don't listen. And but yeah, Fortnite's just one of those that I think will always be around and constantly be at the, like,
I was thinking about buying
championships.
Vanguard because I've been slowly trying to get back into Warzone because it's a new map. I'm trying to give it a chance, and obviously I don't want one of the huge disadvantages. The biggest disadvantages in Warzone is loadouts. If you have someone who has Vanguard and they've been leveling that gun up, they're gonna have a loadout advantage over you, and that's just the game. Like that it's black and white. There's no argument on that. Like, the guns make a difference, and I don't want to have to spend $60 on a shit game where the attack dogs decide they don't want to work on your kill streak.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. To have an advantage in a game. So you're saying I have to buy another game to have an advantage in another game that's already unfinished, and we're what, 2.5 months into Vanguard, 3 months into Vanguard, and that I don't know anyone playing it. I don't have anyone on Discord playing it anymore. After 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I haven't seen anyone really playing that game.
Hey, that's what happens. And there's better games out because of it. And I'm glad about that. And I hope we constantly continue to see.
But what better
this
games?
route of? I mean, I think Apex is a better game at the moment, and
I can agree.
In comparison to the experience I get on Warzone.
Okay.
It's just one of those games where it's just better at evolving the gameplay and not, there it is, evolving that gameplay, and then every game doesn't feel kind of the same. Like in Warzone, it's just genuinely. So I don't know. I mean, I thought that what's it called? Battlefield. I thought Battlefield had a real chance.
We all did. We all wanted it to.
I was so excited, and you know what? I don't know if I'll get roasted for this, but Call of Duty, their first battle royale that competed with Fortnite, Blackout. I loved Blackout. I thought it was fun. I was good at it too.
I never played it.
I was so good at that. Me and Josh played that, I think.
Didn't you have to buy Black Ops to have it though?
Yeah, you had to have. Well, no, it only was on that game. It wasn't like how Warzone is now.
It was a separate game. That's
yeah,
what I'm
it
saying.
wasn't a separate game. It was, you bought Blackout, like you had the multiplayer, the campaign, and the battle royale.
So it was just like a different game mode.
It was just a different game mode. Okay. It was a different multiplayer game mode, and that's how they competed with Fortnite. And that was a damn good experience for battle royale. It was fun, and it had the attachments and it had everything. It didn't have, actually, I think it did have loadouts, but no, it didn't. Everything was ground loot, which kind of makes the game a little bit more even.
More true BR.
Because
it's more of a true BR.
That's a BR. You go into houses. If you get a good gun, great. If you don't, you better be good with every gun, or just, you better be good. But if you just have your own loadout, then that's a different experience. But with Blackout, you didn't have that. With Blackout, it was a lot like Fortnite. Mm-hmm. Like, you had your ground loot, and then you just had to be good at the game.
Sometimes you get a good gun, sometimes you don't.
And yeah, so that's why I really liked it. And I think that's why I really like Apex, because it's not your own loadouts. Like, it's ground loot and keep going, keep moving.
Mechanics, and how and game sense, how you use that character, etc.
And I never got to play Battlefield, so I can't really say. But from all the gameplay I watched a lot. It just didn't look like it hit the mark for me.
And it's a perfect example of how the market is right now. These overhyped. These games are super hyped out. Even the community wants it to be a good game. And they're willing to dump the money on the game. And then upon release, it's just a disaster every time. Look at Cyberpunk.
Oh, God.
Dude, like, how many years of hype?
Flop.
How many years of hype? And
I feel like it was several.
Yeah,
Like,
and they
I wanna
pushed
say was
it
up to a
back
decade.
multiple years, right? Like 2 years. They pushed
like
it back.
rumors up to a decade of production. Like I feel like it was insanely long.
And apparently it's good now. What, a year after?
Oh, right. So you're talking about the fact that they release an unfinished game for everyone to find the bugs that I guess they didn't have the manpower to figure out, and then it just took a community of people being like, look at all what's wrong with it. Then they fixed it, and it took a year.
Dude, and I get
It's
it.
ridiculous.
COVID really messed some things up for developers. Like trying to work home while developing a game is completely different than working where you have all your assets and your tools and a team, right?
I would rather a pushed back game even further than a half-ass produced.
Look what Halo did.
Or a half-produced game. Simple as
Halo
that.
pushed it back a whole year. Whenever they saw the gameplay reveal trailer, in was it 2019 or 2020? I can't tell. These years have been fucking me up so much I can't really tell when it was, but it got pushed back a whole year, the release. I think it's a good game. I think it's a beautiful game. I personally, I'm not going to spend $60 on a campaign. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'll watch it on YouTube and be fine.
I don't care for campaigns either.
No, like unless I'm getting hundreds of hours of gameplay like I can in Skyrim, I'm not spending money on a game like that again.
Yeah, there's a difference between campaigns and stories, in my opinion. Like, story mode is like games like God of War, is games like Skyrim, is games like, what is it? It's on Sony, PlayStation. It's about the daughter and the father during
The
like
Last of Us.
The Last of Us. I've only played the first
game.
one. Again, these are story-driven games that are worth, I think, every bit of money because, like, bro, for $60, and we're talking like hundreds of hours of gameplay. I mean, and I mean that's worth it in my opinion. But you can't sell me a game for just a campaign,
Right.
and a half-assed multiplayer.
Yeah, I feel like these days it's all 100 FPS first shooter G Fuel gaming as
Right.
opposed to like a nice, crisp 1080p, 1440p, 4K, 60 FPS or even 30 FPS game.
Yeah,
And I'm honestly kind of guilty of that too. Like, but I mean, I just really haven't had, like a passion for video games the last couple of like years as far as like a good story. Breath of the Wild was probably the last one. And
ooh, that's a good one.
it's a
I
great
did.
one.
I really did
And-
enjoy that.
But even then, like, like how often do we get one of those? Not often enough. It's just a weird state of gaming right now. Like, I have more fun playing old games than the new things coming out because I can almost just expect disappointment. I mean, I was really hoping for Battlefield 2042 to be a hit, but it was a hit in a different way.
Yeah.
Like the Steam reviews were, I think it literally says overwhelmingly negative, which is
For Battlefield?
just sad because Battlefield had such a good reputation for how immersive the experience is. You can blow up walls, you can do things that you can in Call of Duty, and I know they're two separate games, but it was just something I was looking forward to. And these developers, they don't put games like Call of Duty does. Like, not every developer does that, and it's been a while since we had a Battlefield, and it just sucked.
This makes me think about, this brings up like an interesting thought, which is the fact that throughout history, it's like there's generations that use a specific thing or do something, but then they get too old and they grow out of it, and then they have to always adapt to the new generation. So let's let's say I play football or something, like whatever it is, like you grow out of it to the point where you don't do that anymore. That's what you did as a kid. But with video games, we played them as kids, but up until until we genuinely can't see the screen, I bet you the majority of people who are like just relaxed gamers who enjoy a good battle royale are gonna play. So I'm really curious, like how how the future of gaming is going to look to keep up with the fact that our generation is still going to want to play games. You don't have to change gaming for the new generation. Like, to an extent that the older generations like us and even older than us can't even recognize the game anymore.
Like VR, like how VR is going. That
definitely like VR.
I'm 26 and I already feel overwhelmed with VR personally.
Makes me
Like,
dizzy.
The whole concept just fucks me up. Like, you're telling me I can go into a VR bar with a bunch of other people on VR, and these people are dead ass getting drunk in this bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's their Friday night.
Yep.
I mean, no disrespect, but that to me, that's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That just trips me up. I don't like that. And that's going to be the normal for our kids.
I don't think that. I think that it's going to be the normal for the people who are a bit more antisocial in terms of just going out. Like my brother isn't antisocial like to like such an extent, but like all of his friends are on video games, and like they all have VR, and it is fun. Like, it's cool to be in there, and everyone's drinking, and like, dude, if I'm at home having a beer, but like just put me in VR and that's where all my friends are, like, I get that. But there's going to be two different types of gamers. It's going to be the people who are that immersed and people who do it as like a good time, but then, you know, you just want to go to the bars or you want to go to like someone's house and like have drinks. So like, it's just how immersed is that generation going to be.
And, you know, different is okay. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, it's cool, and it's kind of weird to see, you know, Steven Spielberg's movie. What's it called?
Which one?
You're right. Ready Player One.
That was produced. That was executive produced.
But he
by
didn't
Spielberg.
direct it?
I don't think he directed it.
Okay. But it's kind of cool to kind of see that concept happening with the metaverse and Oculus and all that stuff.
Right.
And, you know, we're kind of getting away from joystick, keyboard, and mouse gaming a little bit. It's just the beginning. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's still a future.
I think
long future for it.
I think we'll forever be better at gaming if we can use like tactile buttons
mechanics
and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I've played VR with like my hands and like using buttons on it. Dude, it's harder because you're in the environment. If you know how you can in Apex on your mouse and keyboard, you can spin around 180 like that. Imagine your body spinning that fast. Dude, I got so dizzy in VR. I played Portal 2 in VR. Dude, it's dizzy. Portal is about going through like portals and constantly like getting into new rooms. Dude, I was getting so dizzy to the point that I almost threw up, and I had to take it off, and I gave it to my brother, and I was like, you play. Because, dude, it genuinely made me that dizzy. So I just don't see how they're going to, like, there's only so much I think they're going to be able to do with VR, and it's going to be for a specific niche of video games. But there's no way we won't always have controller or mouse and keyboard video games like battle royales. I don't think, like, Ready Player One was such an exaggeration of what VR could be. And I just think that they went to the point where the world took it and holistically was like, this is our God. But I think controller will forever be the amateur or I like to call the casual lazy gamer, which is, I just want to enjoy a good Red Dead Redemption 5 or whatever it is.
9 to 5. I just want to play a little Apex. And then you have fucking It's Timmy tap strafing on you after 8 hours of getting, you know, shit on at work. I think another point to the current state of gaming is just how competitive every game feels.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm a fucking victim of it, and I've honestly almost been an added problem to it because it is so fucking competitive. It's hard not to be competitive. You know, you and I have full-time 40-hour plus hour week jobs. And when we get on, we just want to play with our friends, maybe get a little competitive and play some ranked.
Yeah.
But it gets so frustrating, right?
Right.
Like, you have these people that play 8 to 9 hours a day, and they're not even like professional streamers or gamers. And it's just like you have to try so goddamn hard to play a video game. And it honestly sucks the fun out of it out. It sucks the fun out of gaming sometimes.
I would agree with that. But they can only get to that point because they go up against people in their battle royale game that are casual, or I don't know what's above casual, but not hardcore pro. That's kind of where I like to live. Like if I go into like a good Apex game, like I'm gonna sweat. Like I like to say a sweaty cash gamer.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
You're good at games, but
I'm good in terms of like the general population. Like I'm probably in the top of all gamers in the United States. I'm probably in the top 20% of like just good game. And then you have like
sure
the
you can
people
go higher than that.
probably
top
higher, but
10%,
I'm just being a little reserved. But then you have the people who are like absolute gods, God mode. I'll give them like 5%.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm better than the
Predator
80% of all people who are playing that game. But they are better than 95%, so they're able to just do those crazy games because they're going up against.
If you're a professional, it's your job to play 8 to 5 an hour. 8 to 12 hours a day and get the content. Make Predator, which is top 500 people in the world.
Right.
There's a lot of people on planet Earth, so I get the grind and all that stuff, but it does affect the industry, and it does affect the way games are played these days.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't such a negative impact on just the culture in general. Like the culture of competitive gaming is, I don't know. It feels like just a bit dickish.
Yeah.
And I just don't like that. Like there's different gaming communities, and maybe it's because you just haven't found the right one. Like, or maybe I haven't found the right one that's like more into that. But also, to be inundated with a gaming community like that, you're already spending 5 to 8 hours a week or a day. Like if you're that deep, so I don't even know. It's almost as if you just have to live with the fact that there are going to be, and you do. We just have to live with the fact that there are going to be some absolute gods, some absolute sweats that had been on the game 8 hours prior to you getting off work. And I think that's why your TikTok was so fucking like relevant and hilarious, is because like that is the life of the genuine like the general population of gamers. Off work, everyone's fucking screaming at them. They're done with their day. They just want to relax. And you hop on and Nick Merckx is calling you a piece of shit and shitting on you. And you know what? It's because it's like, fuck it. You're just trying to have a good time. And I want to say it's like, it'd be cool if we could like put them in their own lobby and us in our own. But what are even...
I like competition at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that's... one of our mutual friends complains about being in PC lobbies.
Yeah.
But also, how fun is it to just shit on console players all the time?
Right.
Nothing on console players. There's some amazing people on the joysticks. Like, I'm not taking that away from anybody, but like, at the same time, like, why don't you... I like the competitiveness of playing on, a fucking freak of nature on controller on PC, or someone who is a freak of nature on mouse and keyboard. I think it's fucking cool. It's,
I can understand though, because like my friend who lives in California, when he hops on Apex, he's playing from his bed, laying down, his head not looking directly at the TV, but kind of like this, and his TV is up on the wall about 10 feet from him, and it's a 70-inch, and it's not getting 144 hertz. It's not. It's probably a 60 hertz TV. It's a beautiful 4K TV, and it's you're getting joystick lag. You're getting console lag. He's playing PS5. His internet connection is he's not tethered to Ethernet.
He's on Wi-Fi.
So he's on Wi-Fi, dude. He hopped on Apex. He played a single game. He's like, that was not fun. I hopped in there. This guy who I shot for 30 seconds straight, I thought I had him dead, flipped around, just absolutely, he...
Probably Octane jump padded.
Dude, jump padding. Also, on mouse and keyboard, dude, you can do some nasty moves. And on a television, 70 inches away, 10 feet from you, trying to... I know what it's like to play, and it's like feels slow. I understood him when he was like, I hate playing in those lobbies. So I get it. But it's just like you either like level up and you just grab a PC, which are pretty cheap. In fact,
well, let me just say, if you're on Xbox, the new Xbox or the PS5, and you haven't grabbed a 120 hertz monitor, why the fuck did you get a new console anyway? Because that
For
was
that,
that
yeah.
was the biggest upgrade.
Is because it could get the frames.
Because you can get higher frames and
Right.
see more.
That's
and
the whole
kinda
point of
compete with it.
updating consoles.
Yeah.
Is that you can get better graphics. Nowadays,
Or better
it's not just
experience.
getting better graphics. It's getting better frames per second. So why upgrade to the brand new PS5 or the brand new Xbox One or whatever the fuck it's called, and
Series X.
the Series X and not upgrade everything else? I think that's funny because people who aren't techie will be like, oh, like I got the new, and I'm like, dude, your monitor is getting you.
It's like when people buy a
hertz.
$1,500 PC and they still play on 60 hertz. It's like, what's the point? Like, yes, there is a slight difference in performance. Like, yes, you will notice a performance, like input lag,
Yeah.
etc. But you're still gonna get the ghosting and all that. And like, once you see 144 hertz, you will never unsee it.
Yeah,
Unless you're playing Skyrim,
Yeah.
you cannot play competitive games ever again on 60 hertz.
I'll never play in a multiplayer lobby seriously. Like if I'm at someone's house and they have it on their TV, I'll just like fuck around.
play.
But I'll never get upset if I get completely shit on while I'm playing on a TV. I'll be like, I mean, the guy was probably in front of me for like a second before I saw him. I mean, that really is how it feels. It's so slow and. So I mean, yeah, it's a balancing act with people who are like, oh, like I just hate being in these lobbies and I hate this game. It's like, well, dude, I mean, what did you expect? I mean, you just don't have, I guess, the monitors, and you're also, if you're just trying to chill,
Don't play Apex.
don't play Apex.
Yeah.
There's
better-
some games you just don't hop on,
You better play some.
and that's how I am with Fortnite. Like, and I mean, I definitely wouldn't hop on a TV, but even on a screen, because I'm not willing to put in the hours to care about how to play it.
Yeah.
I just won't get in there because I will get absolutely bested.
Yeah, by some 13-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Snorting G Fuel at
Yeah,
3 a.m. in the morning.
yeah, screaming at his mom to do
Yeah,
his laundry.
after he did his fucking vocabulary homework.
No, he didn't. He said he did, but he hopped right on
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like the current state of gaming is a whole bunch of sweaty fuckhead competition, and a lot of just piss poor development.
Yeah,
Piss poor development. I mean, I seriously cannot think the last time, like, of the last game that I was so hyped to pay $60 for.
yeah,
And like back then, I wanted a lot of games, but I didn't have the money for it. Now that I'm working, I can buy as many fucking video games as I want, but there's not a single one that I'm like, yeah, I'll spend $60 on that. I straight up think the last time I spent $60 on a video game was Red Dead Redemption.
yeah.
That's years ago. I've been playing free-to-play
I
games.
think Bethesda's next title will be the actual first game since college that I will be excited for.
Starfield?
Starfield.
Yeah.
Because I know Bethesda's approach to storytelling in like the mechanics of gaming and how much thought they put into it, and I just think that they're willing, and I think even Rockstar's next title will be something like that. But unfortunately for Fallout, unfortunately for Skyrim, which the new Elder Scrolls even will also be something like that, they take up to a
Years.
decade. Like they can, like Cyberpunk can take up, and even then might not be ready and take longer. But I think it's going to be worth the wait.
I think Bethesda is, one of our golden gems, though. If
Yeah.
something's not ready, they won't put it out. We don't have to talk about Fallout 76.
I don't think that was their problem. I don't know what happened there. I think that was a board issue. I don't know who to blame on Fallout 76, but I'm gonna say it's a board.
I also feel like
Hot damn, that was a big one.
30-minute mark.
God damn. Ladies and gentlemen, when we were gone, I watched an episode of Yellowstone, so I'm gonna be talking like this for the rest of it.
No, you're not.
Okay, I apologize.
No, not in this house.
Apologize.
I guess to wrap it up, I just feel like the current state of gaming is a whole lot of promises that never get, delivered. A whole bunch of like flashy lights at the carnival that, you got to pay extra tickets for.
Right.
And like, am I a hater of the battle pass system? Yes and no. Like, I get it. I get it. Like, you pay for in-game content, you get extra content, whatever. But I feel like the majority of stuff in a battle pass is already content that should be in the game. Right?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of pay-to-win culture these days in the industry where you get a slight advantage over people. You know, Warzone, the rose skin, right?
Oh my god, great example.
Apex, you have the R9, you know, iron sights
With those
the
iron
wingman
sights, yeah.
and they make a difference no matter what anyone says.
Which is why they use them.
Yeah, and then now in Warzone, there's skins that make you invisible. Like, why are there all these fundamental issues in a video game? Like back in the day, whenever a game was being made and developed, you know, QC was like always there. Like, there wasn't an update you can put out to fix the game back in the day. Like, once it's out,
it's hardware.
It's out.
It's hardware.
It's in the. It is the game. It's a disc.
Yeah.
There is no update. You
QC quality control, guys.
Yes, and it's just it's so weird how like it's shifted to like, oh yeah, just release the game now, and then we'll see how the beta goes, and then we'll just fucking fix it a year from now.
Yeah.
In like back in the day when they were selling a product they were proud of, it had to be done. It had to be ready. There was no we can fix it later.
Okay, so okay. It's funny because you're bringing up an idea that is, we have the technology now that we can fix it later.
Yeah.
Think about all the things that have been released that probably shouldn't have been because they had made mistakes, but because they knew they could fix mistakes, it probably wasn't on their mind to make QC such a serious process. And the number one that comes to mind is in film and media, which is Game of Thrones. When they launched that last season, there were Starbucks cups throughout a different scene. So I mean, what you're talking about here is like the idea that you can fix it later, and I think that back maybe before they had that ability, bro. When films came out, they were multi-million dollars of film reels. You can't take that back into post. It's not over the internet. So, yeah, you're right. They had hardware to ship out as games. It's done. And now what we got is 80% done, 75% done, and that 25% makes all the difference to a shitty gameplay.
Yeah.
And I think only does more harm than good. I don't know how it can possibly be justified.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a bunch of laziness, and I mean, it's also partially our fault as the gaming community of tolerating it for so long. And they see we'll buy it, we're still buying it, we're complaining. They're just like, okay, well, y'all still paid $60 for this shit, we'll fix it. And they fix it by the time half of the community is already done and moved on from it because they had such a terrible experience with it. And I just don't know if it'll change. I don't know if it's just the new norm, but it's just kind of sad to see. It's kind of weird to see because I am a fucking gamer. I like to just point and shoot and shit on people online, whatever. It's fun, but at the same time, I like quality. I like appreciating a beautiful game that has 0 to no flaws. And there is, every game is going to have its flaws. I understand, there's a margin of human error. But we have let that gap get so big that it is now... I just feel like the gaming industry is now on the back of indie games. Those small games that have to be perfect to get noticed and stuff like that. And instead of like the AAA games that, Ubisoft... fucking what
a motherfucking damn a fucking
Blizzard, even Nintendo sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very weird time, and I hope it's just growing pains, for the
You're
gaming
hoping
community.
it's growing pains and not what it's actually becoming, and it's just going to get more and more clear that dollar signs are going to drive gaming content more than the general like love for creating a good game, which is what we had growing up.
What was that fucking... Did you watch The Office? Were you an Office guy?
Yeah.
What was that scene from The Office whenever he said, like, I wish we knew we were living in the good times when they were the good times, or some shit like that.
Yeah. That's
I
exactly
want
what
that.
That's exactly
Like, you know,
it's a big quote.
I wish we knew we were doing that when we were doing that. So.
Yeah, I wish I knew what kind of game I was playing when I first got my hands on like Skyrim. Like when I first got Skyrim.
Oh, I knew with Skyrim
So long ago. Like I wish I'd known at that. I wish someone would have came up to me and was like, "Hey, just so you know, this is likely the last best title you'll ever play
in a long time
throughout your teens and 20s." And well, not throughout my 20s because hopefully Bethesda comes out with the next Skyrim. I think that's their next big project.
There's other games like
yeah,
you know, and like The Witcher, great.
Witcher's great.
And you know the good thing and the bad thing about those games that were so great is that they set the bar up so high that when other companies try to mimic these RPG open world games or these shooters that innovated and revolutionized certain things, is that when they try to mimic it, it's a flop. Because like I don't know if you ever played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But yeah, it's open
Odyssey.
world. It's great, whatever. But it's a copy and paste. You have the same building here as you did 3 miles back.
Yeah.
It's pitiful. It's
Which
lazy.
isn't what they have for Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3.
Correct.
They put in so many hours to create it such an immersive
They
environment.
replicated the city.
It's incredible what they were able to accomplish at the time.
Another great example. Ultimate Spider-Man on Xbox.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it was on PlayStation, but Ultimate
The
Spider-Man.
old one.
Yeah, from like 2008, 2010. I don't remember. But crazy what they did with that game. Open world, you can sling and spider shoot from building to building, and
Yeah.
open, like you literally had to scour New York City to find the extra in-game content, and you had to put in the hours to get you know a great experience out of it, and it was a great game.
I wanted to see when it did come out because like I remember
did you ever
playing
play
that.
Ultimate Spider-Man?
Yeah.
And then you have like you have games like Battlefront, the modern Battlefront games, which in my opinion suck ass.
Dude, 2005.
2005, and they did
The Ultimate Spider-Man on Xbox, that was 2005.
2005, bro. I was in 3rd grade, and that's a better game than what's out right now. Like, I mean, shout out to the Miles Morales and the new Spider-Man game on PlayStation. Well done.
Yeah, you're talking about this one on the right.
That's the right one.
Yeah.
For that time, it was fucking crazy. The PSP, ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time.
Right.
And you have the
PSP. What a
console.
What an experience
Yeah.
that one was.
Search the internet, play online, 1080p
Play
gaming
great games.
on the go.
Yeah.
On the go.
Yeah.
And way ahead of its time. Even now, it'd still be somewhat relevant. Like you could, like instead of a disc, maybe you could put in like an SD card or something like that,
And
like an M2 drive.
even now, and since we're talking about the current state of gaming, dude, even the Steam Deck.
Steam Deck's crazy.
I'll be honest with you,
It's
I'm
crazy.
actually a little upset because I put in my $5 for the most expensive version to reserve it, but then I went online, dude. Linus Tech Tips.
Linus Tech Tips. Great
He
channel.
was reviewing the new Steam Deck. They let him have it, but they didn't let him like unbox it. But they let him have a whole day with it, and he was able to YouTube content for it. First of all, the screen is an OLED. The screen is is the first edition of the Nintendo Switch. It's the same screen as the first Nintendo Switch. My new Nintendo Switch OLED has a better screen than a $700 Steam Deck.
That's fucking
Which
crazy.
is number one what pisses me off the
red
most.
flag. That's a
Huge red flag. Like, why are those cell phones going to have a better screen than something that is $700 coming out later? Like, I don't understand that.
This is the same price tag.
I get that production value would probably make the price even more expensive. I'd rather that. if I'm gonna give you $700,
Make it
I
800.
probably don't give a shit if it's 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I'm honest to God. Like if I'm willing to go over the $500 threshold, I probably would go up to $850 or $1,000. I
Right.
mean, and we're talking console. Like they're saying it's a mobile PC, and with the specs,
It has
it
Windows
is.
on it.
But don't give me something that can only give me 1440p. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I that really turned me off, and it's a huge red flag. And that's why I know from Cyberpunk, wait a few months because they're gonna have to update it. They're gonna have to make it better. And with the Steam Deck and with a lot of other games, I have to hold off on buying midnight morning of because it's gonna be better later on.
Might as well wait. Like
Exactly.
with the, I mean, we're kind of off topic here, but with these new electric vehicles coming out, you might as well wait.
You have to wait.
You know it's gonna be something's gonna get fucked up.
Some shit's gonna hit the fan. Someone's gonna sue. Someone's gonna be like, "Yo, this isn't working, bro." With my red Komodo camera that I use for my cinematography, when it first came out, the SCI port kept frying. How are you gonna spend $6,000, literally a car payment, like a used car? How are you gonna buy a camera that literally the SDI port to view what you're seeing on an external monitor fries if you don't do the correct power up options or whatnot? Like that's another thing, dude. You're like, now we're going into a different topic, which is the fact that we are releasing products before they're done being like perfected.
Mm-hmm.
We're releasing things to hit a quota for that bottom dollar.
Because that's just the taste of the market right now. They know
People
will
will
buy anything.
Yeah.
And that's just how the market works. Like, oh, anyone will buy anything. So, like, it doesn't matter what Ford's doing. It doesn't matter what NVIDIA's doing. AMD knows they can put out something almost done because NVIDIA's doing the same thing.
You know what? That's why I like, honestly, if anyone's actually like listening to this conversation, if you go to a YouTuber and they're telling you this game's not finished or they're telling you this shit, believe them.
They took
and
the time
wait,
to tell you.
Because Cyberpunk now is probably worth the buy, but because I spent 3 hours with a completely botched game, I have now like zero interest to download it again. I deleted it. So yeah, I mean, if you're getting a warning that a game's not ready or this or that, like, even if no one's told you, probably still wait. Unless it's coming from someone that is constantly making absolute fire content, which is anything from Bethesda's, I think is probably worth the go-ahead, especially if it's like a main title. Unfortunately for 76, now we're just making a circle, but 76 was like a backup title, a part of something. And but yeah, that's a good conversation.
I just feel like I get more of a fun experience out of indie games or old school games now that I do out of like the new stuff, because like some of these games, they'll be absolutely gorgeous, but like there's so many bugs that just shouldn't be there.
Yep.
And it just takes the experience away. Like whenever I work, I sound old saying this, but whenever I work 8 to 9 hours a day and I have stuff to do when I get home and I want to sit in my chair and just not have to worry about bugs and, sweat tards and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's very distasteful right now. And I sound like the old guy, but I am only 26 years old.
Yeah.
Like we really did get the golden age of gaming. You and I got to.
I think so. Because we had
sound like the old heads, right?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a 14-year-old that is absolutely okay with what's out right now.
Yeah.
But
they don't have any idea though, so
like,
it's of course they are okay with it.
The Halo 3 servers shut down this past weekend.
Right.
Like that feels weird.
Yeah.
But like now, my kid is never going to experience Halo 3 like, especially the way we did.
Yeah.
In its prime. And MLG and stuff like that. It was just a different time, bro. Like staying up on a Thursday night to go into GameStop at midnight for Friday. You don't go to school the next day.
Literally, like that's not a thing
anymore. It's not.
But that is like, there's only one time my mom let me go to GameStop at 11 o'clock at night to get a game.
Skyrim for me. It was
and
Skyrim
to
for me.
play it later, which was like I forget which Call of Duty, but it was one of the Call of Duties that they hyped it up so much. I think it was Modern Warfare. I think it was either Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2.
I feel like it had to be Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, well, Modern Warfare 2 is the one that I have a full poster of, and that came with the night that it premiered. So then, now that I'm saying it, I think it's Modern Warfare 2. That was the game my mom was like, okay, like you can go, whatever.
What an actual game from Infinity Ward.
That was it, dude. Like, and that night when I got home, finished campaign.
Yeah, you don't even play COD campaigns
No,
anymore.
God no. You don't even touch them.
No, like even with the new Modern Warfare one, I wasn't even interested.
No.
I think the last Call of Duty campaign I think I ever played was Black Ops 2, and after that they lost me completely.
How
And
about
you
the
got
fact that they have
jetpacks and shit? And
How about the fact that they have Kevin Spacey in one of their Call of Duty games?
I didn't know that.
Dude, his actual face. They have Kevin Spacey. This is another.
You have The Rock in fucking Fortnite now.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know they had The
he's
Rock.
in Fortnite. He's a character in Fortnite now.
Well, Kevin Spacey was in one of the was a villain in one of the Call of Duties,
No, that kind of
which is funny because it didn't age well, but like that kind of ages well, and I think you end up killing him or something. I don't remember, but
yeah. I'm not gonna say it,
insane.
but I think we're thinking the same thing about Kevin Spacey right now.
I think we know what we know. I think everyone knows about Kevin Spacey, and that's that. I think a conversation that it'd be dope for you to even have with anyone is the fact that you starting a gaming channel. So yeah, that's a good one because that's a cool conversation, and that's also something that people want to know about. It's like, what is it like? What's the genuine like reality of starting a channel?
Well,
that is focused
you
on
have
anything?
one. You had one with me, and now I have one.
Yeah,
So I think we have multiple perspectives on it.
we can chat about that because that's something that I think people would care about.
I mean, we started a gaming channel a year and a half ago at the peak of COVID.
Yep.
And there was nothing to do but sit your sweaty ass in a chair and play Warzone or Fortnite or Apex or whatever you wanted to play. You had nothing but time to make content. Twitch was at the peak of, I think it'll ever be, when everyone was just watching and everyone wanted to stream and make content because they had nothing but time on their hands.
Yeah.
And, Brandon and I and two other friends, Nick and Josh, we decided like, yo, I think we're, above average gamers. I think we're pretty fucking funny when we play together. I think we have chemistry. Every time we play, we laugh. I think people would enjoy to see us play games. And you have the man who is behind production. He has the eye for what people want to see. And then you have the people who bring the content.
Yeah.
Right? It was me, Josh, Brandon, and Nick. And we had the content sitting on a fucking Google Drive, but it was just kind of hard to get a group effort on things. But I mean, that's another thing. As far as making the channel, it was fun. It was fun to to edit things, to make funny moments even funnier, and to kind of grow a small little community. I made a lot of friends in 2020, 2021 just off gaming alone.
Dude, we literally started a Discord channel that actually
Popped off.
Yeah, and at one time I would log into Discord and every channel had at least 2 to 5 people in each channel.
Yeah, we had,
and I haven't seen
Warzone
any
full,
Discord channels that were like that full,
except for
on mine.
Official like Apex tournament ones or something.
Yeah.
That was a good feeling. As far as like the content and things to look out for, it would really fucking suck whenever you put hours into editing a video just to see it only get like 50 views or less, and that leads to a lot of creative burnout. There's been times where I post a video on Twitter just for shits and giggles of my girlfriend doing this down the street, and it gets more views on that than my current YouTube video. And you shouldn't be doing it for views. You should be doing it because you love it. And I do love it, but it's a contribution to, is this worth it? Like, this shit isn't, getting out to anyone. I want people to see my shit and laugh because it's good content. If you have good content and, and you know it deserves views. For fuck's sake, this guy, for fuck's sake, has amazing content, and you have a documentary out. Like, he puts in the hours, he puts in the work, he has the eye, and sometimes it just doesn't do well. Sometimes my videos just don't do well, and that's part of being a creator. You know, that's just the simple truth.
I think the big thing is, like, you can't let it discourage you, even though it's the most discouraging thing about a YouTube channel.
Yeah. You
start a YouTube channel, the number one thing is the fact that you're going to look at your subscriber count or even your view count, and you're going to be like,
this ain't it, dog.
Dude, I spent 7 hours on this, and I have 3 views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just the nature of it. But I think the difference between a YouTube channel that actually gets over 1,000 subs and one that doesn't is that someone is actually gives a fuck and passionate about, like, this is what I like to do, and I'm really not doing it. I'm not doing it because I want 1 million views. I'm doing it because I just genuinely love it.
Yes.
And I think that that's the difference between, like, my channel and, like, people who, like, start a channel but then it, like, just grows out because, like, it didn't go anywhere. It's not meant to go anywhere for me. It's not meant to go anywhere for even you. I think it's like it's meant to be there because it's where we put our passion. Mm-hmm. And like we upload it because this is how I feel. I did a little YouTube like semi documentary on my mom called Mom's Table. I did that because I wanted to tell a story because of how Chef's Table on Netflix, how that like is such an incredible documentary. I wanted to tell a story like that through my mother's cooking. I didn't put it on YouTube because I thought it was going to go viral or that I cared that I was going to get hella views. I did it because I put 12 hours or 15 hours worth of editing into it. I might as well put it on YouTube because it should live somewhere. And I think that's the direction you should go with your YouTube content. You want to make this video regardless of whether or not it's on YouTube or not. You want to do it because
I want someone to hear this. Whether it's one dude in Pakistan just on fucking American YouTube for whatever reason, if this is something he can relate to, that's cool. Like, there's 7 billion people on Earth, and I know there's someone out there who's trying to relate to like how we feel about something. And I don't know. I think the whole YouTube thing is kind of cool. It's definitely oversaturated. Everyone wants a gaming channel. Everyone wants a podcast channel.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of creative people out there. And, like my gaming PC build video was, for the most part, the exact same when it comes to keywording it, when it comes to filming it, and when it comes to the hardware of my PC. It was, almost copy and paste.
Right.
But for some reason, this guy just happened to get 90,000 more views than I did.
Yeah.
And it's his first video. I can't be mad at that. I'm happy for the guy. I'm not going to sit here and ponder why. That's just how it works.
Yeah. Somehow the algorithm worked in his favor and not yours. And maybe he was there first before you. And so, I mean, it's dude, the amount of also data that goes behind whether or not your YouTube video succeeds or not. Are you uploading anything that has to be relevant? Like, if not, then people searching for things relevant, you're obviously not going to come up because what you're doing isn't relevant. So, like, that's another thing.
What you're doing isn't relevant.
You're either
what you're titling your video isn't relevant. There's so much shit.
There's so much that goes into it,
and it's almost just not worth.
It's actually it's incredibly humbling to put a YouTube video up, put yourself out there like that, and get absolutely nothing back from it because someone saw it, but like they just clicked away, or like on TikTok, you just slide up quickly and you go away. Like, that is, in my opinion, the most humbling part about starting my YouTube channel is the fact that and you can see your percentage of viewer rate. The majority of my viewers were only there for over like 15 seconds. And then they're like, this video is not for me. Like, that's humbling. And you just have to be okay with it and like not do it because you wanted them to watch it, but because you were like proud of what you did.
Yeah.
And like that's what makes a YouTube video succeed. Repetition. Fuck whether or not I make enough viewers or not. Like, I'm just gonna keep putting this out because I like it.
Yeah.
If you and I know other people will like it. I just haven't reached that audience yet.
You haven't got the right person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've
it
had
just hasn't gotten to the right.
You've
person.
had 4,000 people somehow stumble on your video. You're out of 70 million. Out of 70, like literally like 700 million. Like the amount of people who are on YouTube a day. The amount of people of those people that have been on YouTube in that day, you got what 0.0000001% of them to see your video. It's not the fact that your video wasn't good. It's that you haven't posted enough to where you've gotten an audience to come back to you or to see you.
YouTube is spending a lot of money on data traffic and I don't know enough shit for vocabulary words, but data traffic.
Yeah.
They're spending money on your video to promote it. And if it's not doing well, they're not going to promote it because it's not making them money. And that's just the nature of the game.
Yeah.
You have to really have a true passion for it, and you have to have a true passion for outputting your creativity. Because, as you get older, I really feel like I have to be creative to stay sane. Like, I'm too smart, I'm too creative of a person not to share my passions and my creativity with the world. I'm a human. We're all artistic in our own ways. Fuck it. Put it on the internet.
Right.
And that's just something, my mom doesn't really understand. Or like, some people, I'm friends with don't understand. But like, I'm starting to get more used to the fact that not everyone's going to fuck with your creative side. Some people are going to think you're lame for it.
Yeah.
I think that's lame. I think that's the lamest shit on the planet, actually, is you're saying that I have, something I want to share with the world and you're just too cool to click on it and see if you can relate to it. Okay. Like, we all have our interests, but like, don't unfollow me or, block me just because you don't fuck with my video.
Yeah, I get that. Like, it's just, again, that goes back into the fact that it's just humbling.
Mm-hmm.
It's very humbling to see people who are like, oh, I don't fuck with this. And I'm honestly like, just don't want to see you anymore because I don't fuck with this.
Not everyone
I'm like,
fucks
cool.
with gaming videos. That's great.
Yeah. Especially gaming.
I get it. Like, no one wants to see that shit 24/7. That's great.
Yeah.
But like, there's more to me than that. And
well, there's more to gaming than that.
Yeah.
Which is literally the part and the side that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There's more to the gaming channel than being good at games.
Yeah, it's about having fun.
I
I think a lot of people forget how to have fun these days.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to have fun these days on the game.
Yeah. I honestly will go to Twitch to not see someone sweat, but to see a genuine person just having a good time and interacting with their chat. Saw some dude with like six viewers that I've somehow stumbled on, and I still to this day on Twitch follow him. And he's just a genuine guy who has a dope setup like this one, and he just was talking to his chat, and he was like, and I said something in the chat, and he like responded to me. It's like, and I know that people who blow up like Tim the Tap Man who like can't do that with everybody who tap, but still make an effort to like have a good entertaining experience, not because they're sweaty, but because they love what they're doing and they're there to entertain and have a good time. And that's like the number one thing that I can like advise people who do this with Twitch or a YouTube channel. If this isn't something that you genuinely love, then you're going to be here for a day because you're going to be humbled out of it. But if you genuinely love it because it's all that you care about, and like whether or not you see 30 people or 400 people watch your video, like if you don't care about those numbers, then you're going to be fine because you just need to post.
I mean, shit, when I have even 10 people in my stream, the best way and the best advice I can give someone to visualize it is imagine 10 people in one room watching you play that video game.
Right.
Don't think of it as someone across the world. Imagine it as they're behind you, like back in the day, watching you about to get that dub or just watching you have fun with your friends behind you. Not on their screen in their room across the planet, but think about it. They're talking to you behind you while you're in that game watching your screen.
Yeah.
Because that's the best way to That's the best way to, one, interact with people, and two, to keep your passion for it. Because 4 people is a lot of people to be just breathing down your neck watching you play this game, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're watching you. You have their full on attention. So, you know, don't be discouraged by it. And as long as you're doing it because you love it and you want to entertain and you know you have good content, then keep your confidence and keep it going. You know, like, it's very easy to be intimidated and knocked out of this stuff because, like, I mean, let's be honest, gaming channels are in high demand and kind of oversaturated.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, word of advice, if you want to reach more people quickly, I don't know, don't play Apex. Don't play Warzone.
Yeah.
Unless it makes you happy. But if you really are going for purely views, then play something else. That's the best way I can. I mean, I'm not the best at Apex at all. Like, I'm not even close to being the best. I'm above average, but who wants to watch just an above average player?
Here's the thing: if you're on Twitch or YouTube to get views because you want to be the best gamer in the world, then your number one priority should not be a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel. It should be the greatest player at a single game, and then make content by already being that.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Always,
like, that should be your number one.
Word of advice: there is always going to be someone better at you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. There will always be someone better than you. And it might be someone who just doesn't have access to stream or to make content or to play video games.
Yeah. But they have all the time in the world to just play that game and have a good time.
And the talent. Like, there's some people who are better than Tfue at every video game he plays, but they just don't stream.
Yeah. They don't make content. They just do it because, like, they're
good. And they just like
that's what they want to do.
And that's the crazy part to me.
Yeah. You do this shit for free?
Yeah. You doing this shit for free?
Did you hear that camera?
No.
Beep, beep. I can't tell if it was mine or yours. Oh, shit. Okay. We shot 4K for like an hour, so I'm surprised how long that went.
Well, I think that's a good
first little potty down.
Yeah.